Welcome back, warrior. Okay, so we decided that we're going to read Exodus chapter 21, 22, and 23 before we hit Exodus chapter 24. But we're going to try not to have a ton of commentary because we want to go through it quickly. And a lot of this is laws pertaining to different things back then, and feels like they had to do a lot of like strict law giving and stuff. So it's not just the 10 Commandments that they got, but then it felt like they needed extra guidance, you know? Sometimes when we're children, okay, we need a lot of guidance from our parents. And because these Israelites hadn't really had a chance to live their choice to be religious or have faith in God, then they needed to learn extra things. And so that's what I'm understanding from these chapters so far. So, but we need to read it so that we can be familiar, but also get through it so that we can get to chapter 24, because I think that one applies more. Well, I guess not like more or less. Anyway, I am not going to talk anymore. And we're just going to read these Exodus chapter 21. And just remember that this was back in the day. They needed, the children of Israel just left Egypt, and they just witnessed all kinds of miracles and things from the Lord. And now they're trying to live on their own and have a desire to make covenants with God. And so he's giving them instruction. Okay, so here we go. Verse 1. Now these are, the preface or the chapter heading says, the Lord reveals his laws pertaining to servants, marriage, the death penalty for various offenses, the giving of an eye for an eye, and a tooth for a tooth, and the damage done by oxen. Now, I don't know why our church decided to skip these chapters, but there are some ideas I could have as to why. And the first idea is mostly because there's just not enough time, or chapters or not enough time to cover the amount of chapters that the Bible has. But there's probably some hard stuff in here that we would have to figure out how to explain each and everything. And sometimes because this is not the first time they're going through the Old Testament. And so I think during different readings, they address different things so that they're not like trying to address everything all at once. That's kind of what I think also. So, but we will read, okay? So now these are the judgments which thou shalt set before them. If thou buy an Hebrew servant 6 years, he shall serve, and in the seventh he shall go out free for nothing. Okay, so now we're talking about servants who get purchased. If he came in by himself, he shall go out by himself. If he were married, then his wife shall go out with him. If his master have given him a wife, and she bore him sons or daughters, the wife of her children shall be her master's, and he shall go out by himself. Okay, yeah, there's lots of things wrong there. But we're just going to keep reading, okay? Because, I mean, if you'd like to have a combo about that, then we can. But I am not going to claim to know what the Lord was referring to there. So Let's keep reading. It gets better, trust. And I might be being a little bit sarcastic. Okay, and if the servant shall plainly say, I love my master, my wife, and my children, I will not go out free. Then his master shall bring him unto the judges. He shall also bring him to the door, or unto the door posts, and his master shall bore his ear through with an awl, and he shall serve him forever. Okay. Yep, exactly. You're like, what? I know, same. Okay. Verse 7. And if a man sell his daughter to be a maidservant, she shall not go out as the maidservants do. As the men servants do. If she please not her master, who hath betrothed her to himself, then shall he let her be redeemed. To sell her unto a strange nation, he shall have no power, seeing he hath dealt deceitfully with her. And if he hath betrothed her unto his son, he shall deal with her after the manner of daughters. If he take him another wife, her food, her raiment, and her duty of marriage shall he not diminish. And if he do not these three unto her, then shall she go out free without money. He that smiteth a man so that he die shall be surely put to death. Yes. There's so many things that we can be commenting. Okay. Okay, we're just going to keep reading. And if a man lie not in wait, but God deliver him into his hand, then I will appoint thee a place whither he shall whither he shall flee. But if a man come presumptuously upon his neighbor to slay him with guile, thou shalt take him from mine altar, that he may die. And he that smiteth his father or his mother shall be surely put to death. And he that stealeth a man and selleth him, or if he be found in his hand, he shall surely be put to death. So a lot of putting to deaths here. Everything. I mean, back in the day, it's like we had people who showed respect out of fear, and we had parents who gave spankings and were very abusive in that way. But you knew your place, and you knew that at least I knew that, and I knew, like, hey, I just don't do that, right? So a lot of being mean and things like that happen. And I think because there's so much, this person shall be put to death kind of thing. And we have people who are Christian these days and only read the Bible, could be confused as to all these putting to deaths, because it's really sad how people these days think they can just kill anybody. And it's like, no, you cannot. See, it says, he that smiteth a man so that he die shall be surely put to death. So it's like, we're just going to keep it going. We're going to keep the cycle going. Anyway, so I think it's very interesting, all these things. Okay, but we're going to keep reading. And he that curseth he that curseth his father or his mother shall be surely put to death. So, I skipped verse 16. And he that stealeth a man and selleth him. Oh, no, I didn't skip it. Okay, so verse 18. And if men strive together, and one smite another with a stone or with his fist, and he die not, but keepeth his bed. And he die not, but keepeth his bed. If he rise again and walk abroad about his staff, then shall he that smote him be quit. Only he shall pay for the loss of his time, and shall cause him to be thoroughly healed. I don't even want to pretend to know what I just read there. And if a man smite his servant or his maid with a rod, and he die under his hand, he shall be surely punished, except that he should be put to death because of the other one. Notwithstanding, if he continue a day or two, he shall not be punished, for he is his money. If men strive and hurt a woman with child, so that her fruit departs from her, and yet no mischief follow, he shall be surely punished, according as the woman's husband will lay upon him, and he shall pay as the judges determine. Yes. But I think it should also be tried as the putting somebody to death, and then you should be put to death, right? Do you see how this happens? Okay, verse 23. And if any mischief follow, and if any mischief follow, then thou shalt give life for life, eye for eye, tooth for tooth, hand for hand, foot for foot, burning for burning, wound for wound, stripe for stripe. And if a man smite the eye of his servant or the eye of his maid, that it perish, he shall let him go free for his eye's sake. And if he smite out his maidservant's tooth, and if he smite out his manservant's tooth or his maidservant's tooth, he shall let him go free for his tooth's sake. If an ox gore a man or a woman that they die, then the ox shall be surely stoned, and his flesh shall not be eaten, but the owner of the ox shall be quit. But if the ox were wont to push with his horn in time past, and it hath been testified of his owner, and he hath not kept him in, but that he hath killed a man or a woman, the ox shall be stoned. Oh boy, hold on, let me write. Here we go. Shall be stoned, and his owner also shall be put to death. Okay. Verse 30, so there's 36 verses, we're almost there. If there be laid on him a sum of money, then he shall give for the ransom of his life whatsoever is laid upon him. Whether he have gored a son or have gored a daughter, according to his judgment shall it be done unto him. If the ox shall push a manservant or a maidservant, he shall give unto their master 30 shekels of silver, and the ox shall be stoned. And if a man shall open a pit, and if a man shall open a pit, or if a man shall dig a pit and not cover it, and an ox or a donkey fall therein, the owner of the pit shall make it good, and give money unto the owner of them, and the dead beast shall be his. Okay. And I have so many comments. And if one man's ox hurt another's, that he die, then they shall sell the live ox and divide the money of it, and the dead ox also they shall divide. Or if it be known that the ox hath used to push in time past, and his owner hath not kept him in, he shall surely pay ox for ox, and the dead shall be his own. Okay. There were so many things that I wanted to comment on, but for this purpose, for the purposes of trying to read all these chapters 21, 22, and 23 before we finish, or before we start 24, then we're not going to give a ton of commentary. So until Exodus chapter 22, stay strong, warrior.